So I wanted to talk today about tarot and money. Traditionally, you may think that the suit of pentacles is connected with wealth, money, finances, and that is correct. But of course, money is more than what you just hold in your bank balance or your purse. Money is about your emotional connection to money, about your self-worth, about your attitude, about whether you worry about money or whether you see money as a useful tool. So every card can reflect your finances and how to best improve your finances. So I wanted to share a simple spread that you can do to track not only your finances but your attitude to your finances. I would suggest that you do this reading once a week, that you keep a track of the cards that you get, and in particular a track of the action cards that you get. When we get to the action cards, if you do this for yourself and you're not sure what an action could be for the cards that you've got, do drop me a note in the comments here on YouTube and I will check in and give you some suggestions. So here is my spread I'm reading for myself for money, and it's nice and simple. I like to cut the deck. I think it's really important that you have a regular way of shuffling and cutting. Now, the first card I always read for either my client or myself. It's important that you have one card at least that creates a connection to the present. And my card for me and my attitude to my finances is the Hanged Man. Interesting. Hanged Man is to do with looking at things from a different perspective. I would say for the first time I'm beginning to realise how much I influence my finances or my lack of finances. I would say for the first time I'm starting to feel in control of my finances. I'm starting to realise that my negative attitude to money is definitely impacting how much money I have and how I spend it. So yes, I would say I am looking at my finances from a different perspective. So that's the first card. The first card represents you. Either how you're feeling about money and your finances or how you deal with it. It's up to you. But this card should be quite easy to read because it should be something you recognise in yourself. Now the next three cards are very interesting because they are actions. You should be able to think of something practical or emotional to do for each of these cards. First card for me, yeah, it's a nice easy one. The Emperor, self-disciplined. I have to be honest, I'm a bit of a splurger. I tend to see things I like, particularly online. It's all too easy, isn't it, to press click. So the Emperor for me is about self-discipline. It's about recording what I have coming in and what I spend my money on, and it's about having a budget and spending within my means. Deep breath, shock revelation. So for me, the first thing I'm going to say, and the Emperor, just to go back, if the Empress represents passion and emotion and the soul, the Emperor represents logic. So this is about having a logical attitude to my finances and self-discipline. That is my first action for myself for the coming week. My second action card, hope. I always think about the star as hope. I tend to get quite pessimistic about my finances. So hope is quite nice. But here we have a very interesting image. We have half of the water poured back into the water and half of the water poured onto the earth. This is saying that to improve my finances, half of my work needs to be practical and half to do with my inner journey, my feelings of self-worth, my emotional connection to money. So that's good. I will check in on that. I tend to get quite logical, quite practical, but I will check in to make sure that I'm nurturing my self-worth. And maybe within my discipline, because I tend to go a bit too far into the discipline, there's enough room to treat myself to a few things that lift my spirits. And my third action card, Page of Cups. To be creative. I am quite creative. I tend to get very busy. I like baking, I like craft work, It's amazing how much fun you can have when you put some time into something. So yeah, to now follow through, because although each action card can represent one action, the real key to tarot is finding the story between the cards. I do need to be self-disciplined. I do need to look at my finances logically. But I also need to see the hope there, not to be too pessimistic. And remember to be quite balanced. The Star is a card of balance. To be quite balanced and to check in with my attitude, my emotional reaction to money as well. And maybe this is saying that with my finances, I need to not only look at the practical, logical side, but how I'm spending money, how it makes me feel, as well as the practical side. And the Page of Cups, that's enjoyment, creativity, having fun, playfulness. I get a lot of enjoyment from simple pleasures with my kids, especially playing cards, watching movies. It's a little bit more fun in my week, but perhaps fun within my budget. So those are my 3 action cards. And as I said, if you get to these 3 and you can't think of a simple, practical way this can improve your finances, drop me a note in the comments on YouTube, and I'll keep an eye and I'll try to help out. Something I need to know, card on the bottom of the pack, the Devil. Interesting how he always crops up when we're dealing with repressed emotions. Yeah, I have issues with money. It comes from my childhood. I'm aware of that. I'm aware that I undervalue myself and tend to think that I'll always be skint because of that. Bit of a wake-up call, especially when we have the looking at things from another point of view. So I will just check that I'm not self-sabotaging. To me, the Devil is a card of self-sabotage, so I'll check in on that. And that is my spreads. Like I say, I would recommend that you do this once a week. Check in. Keep a note of which cards you get. And if I can just pull that over, there we go. It's very simple. The card that represents you, 3 cards of clear action, and something you need to know. Over the weeks, check to see how these 2 cards are changing. Hopefully, as you follow through your action cards, these should become quite positive. Have fun, and if you need any help, particularly with these 3 cards, do drop me a note and I'll try and help. And I will be releasing several videos, 1 a week, each to do with using tarot to focus on your finances. So if you want to keep up to date with the different spreads I'm doing each week, do subscribe.